Welcome, dear horror listener. You're tuning into Horror Radio, and I'm truly grateful you're here. Whether you're a long-time listener or just stumbled upon this channel, thank you for joining me for another scary tale. If you enjoy these stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and means more than you know. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from, what brought you here, or even what kind of story you'd like to hear next. Your support keeps this channel going, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, let's get into today's horror story. This happened last December, about a week before Christmas. I was out doing some last-minute grocery shopping at the Walmart over in Crestwood, just outside Louisville. It was one of those crowded Friday afternoons when everyone seems rushed, cold, and vaguely irritated. I avoid shopping during the holidays like the plague, but we were down to bread crusts and old mustard in the fridge, and I had both my kids in tow. I told myself I'd be in and out in under an hour. My name's Dana. I was 34 at the time, freshly divorced, and figuring out how to juggle everything solo. My kids, Ellie, who had just turned 6, and Milo, 2.5, were both stuffed into the shopping cart, one cross-legged in the basket, the other swinging her boots just over the edge. It was already a bit chaotic, but I had a close friend with me, James, who joined at the last minute just to help manage the kids while I ran for the list. He's the kind of person who keeps you grounded, even if he spends most of his time glued to work calls. He was walking a few halls away taking a client call, while I tried to focus on the overwhelming wall of hair dye auctions in front of me. The kids were getting restless. Ellie kept trying to poke at the packages while Milo jabbered about some robot toy he'd seen last week. That's when Milo leaned forward a little and whispered, "Mommy, weird." It made me pause. I turned around and there, about 15 or 20 feet behind us, was a man, probably in his 50s, shorter build, kind of doughy, dressed in a brown jacket and a knit beanie. He wasn't browsing. He wasn't pushing a cart. He was just standing there, staring. His eyes weren't on me. They were locked on my kids, on Milo specifically. I didn't say anything at first, just nudged the cart out of the aisle and turned toward the grocery section. I figured maybe he was waiting for someone, or maybe I was being paranoid. I'm not proud of how often I try to convince myself I'm overreacting, even when my stomach starts to tighten. I tap my wrist. James and I both wore those little buzz bracelets, the kind couples or friends get as a quiet way to check in. 3 quick taps meant call me. I barely turned into the frozen foods when my phone buzzed in my jacket. I picked up, and James's voice came through, calm but already alert. "Everything good?" "I'm not sure," I said quietly. "There's a guy. Was behind us in pharmacy. Not doing anything, just watching. Same guy I saw following you toward health and beauty." That made my stomach drop. I hadn't realized anyone was walking behind us before we even hit that aisle. James told me to hold tight. He'd find me. He showed up less than a minute later, sliding up beside the cart like he just happened to run into us. It made me feel better instantly, even if I didn't say much. I told him I'd spotted the guy again, near the shampoo shelves, and gave a vague description. James nodded but didn't press. We kept walking like nothing was wrong. For a while, things felt normal again. We debated pasta sauces, compared yogurt prices, tossed extra bags of popcorn into the cart for movie night. Then we reached the refrigerated aisle. I was holding up 2 different coffee creamers, asking Ellie which one we should get. When Milo perked up again and said Santa, I turned. The man for earlier was there, closer this time, maybe 6 feet away. He had one of those novelty Santa hats pulled over his beanie, and he was waving. Not at me, at the kids. No cart, no groceries in his hands, just standing there. Again, my spine went stiff. I didn't say a word. I just grabbed the cart handle and started pushing, fast. James caught the shift immediately and followed, asking under his breath if that was him. I nodded once, but kept my eyes ahead. We cut across 2 aisles and made a beeline for the front registers. James didn't confront him. I think he was waiting for a better moment. Or maybe he didn't want to start something in the middle of the store, surrounded by shoppers and their kids. We just wanted to check out and leave. I found an open self-check lane and started unloading items as fast as I could. I dropped a box of noodles, picked it up with shaky hands, tried to smile at Ellie like nothing was wrong. The cashier at the lane next to us noticed how flustered I looked and asked if I needed help. "There's a man," I said, trying to keep my voice low. "He's been following us, watching the kids. He's standing near the grocery exit now." She looked over my shoulder, and her expression shifted, calm to concerned in 2 seconds. She stepped away briefly and returned with a manager, who nodded at James and me and asked if we could point the guy out. James scanned the store, then said, "He's near the exit. Brown coat, Santa hat." The manager walked off toward the grocery doors, 2 other associates moving in the same direction. I felt like we could finally breathe, like maybe this was over. Then we left. We decided to exit through the opposite side of the store, away from groceries, assuming he was still being dealt with. But as we pushed open the doors and stepped into the cold, there he was, off to the side of the walkway, standing just beyond the sliding doors, waiting and looking at my kids again. His head tilted like he was trying to catch Milo's eye.